Hello guys, thank you for watching. And let's start with YouTube terms of service. We got YouTube terms of service, the Australia version. So I'm going to start from the top. Terms of service, view the terms of service in other languages. So if you speak a different language, you can change that. What is in these terms? What's in these terms, this index is designed to help you to understand some of the key updates we've made to our terms of service. We hope this serves as a useful guide, but please ensure you read the terms in full. Welcome to YouTube. This section outlines our relationship with you. It includes a description of the service, defines our agreement, and names your service provider. Who may use the service? This section sets out certain requirements for use of the service and defines categories of users. Your use of the service. This section explains your rights to use the service and the conditions that apply to your use of the service. It also explains how we may make changes to the service. Your content and conduct. This section applies to users who provide content to the service. It defines the scope of the permissions that you grant by uploading your content and includes your agreement not to upload anything that infringes on anyone else's rights. Account suspension and termination. This section explains how you and YouTube may terminate this relationship. About software in the service, this section includes details about software in the service. Other legal terms, this section includes our service commitment to you. It also explains that there are some things we will not be responsible for. About this agreement, this section includes some further important details about our contract, including what to expect if we need to make changes to these terms or which law applies to them. Terms of service. Terms of service. Welcome to YouTube. Introduction. Thank you for using the YouTube platform and the products, services, and features we make available to you as part of the platform. Collectively, the service. Our service. The service allows you to discover, watch, and share videos and other content. Provides a forum of people to connect, inform, and inspire others across the globe, and acts as a distribution platform for original content creators and advertisers, large and small. We provide lots of information about our products and how to use them in our help center. Among other things, you can find out about YouTube Kids and the YouTube Partner Program and YouTube paid membership and purchases. You can also read all about enjoying content on other devices like your television, your game console, or Google Home. Your service provider. The entity providing the service is Google LLC, a company operating under the laws of Delaware, located at 1600 Amphitheater Parkway, Mountain View, etc., etc. References to YouTube's affiliates in these terms means the other companies within the Alphabet Incorporation corporate group now or in the future. Applicable terms. Your use of the service is subject to these terms. Um, the YouTube community guidelines, the policy, safety, and copyright policies, which may be updated time to time. Together, this agreement. Your agreement with us, okay, that's the end of it. Next, your agreement with us will also include the advertising on YouTube policies. If you provide advertising or sponsorship to the service or incorporate paid promotions in your content, any other links or references provided in these terms are for informational use only and are not part of the agreement. Please read this agreement carefully and make sure you understand it. If you do not understand the agreement or do not accept any part of it, then you may not use the service. Who may use the service? Age requirements. You must be at least 13 years old to use the service. However, children of all ages may use the service, and YouTube Kids were available if enabled by a parent or legal guardian. Permission by parent or guardian. If you are considered a minor in your country, you represent that you have your parent or guardian's permission to use the service. Please have them read this agreement with you. If you are a parent or legal guardian of a minor in your country, by allowing your child to use your service, you are subject to the terms of this agreement and responsible for your child's activity on the service. You can find tools and resources to help you manage your family's experience on YouTube, including how you enable a child under the age of 13 to use the service and YouTube Kids in our help center and through Google's family link. There are two hyperlinks here. The first hyperlink is in our open quote help center and through and open end quote Google's open quote family link close quote. So help center and through and family link. Uh, we probably could check that in a different time. Please leave a comment in the comment section below. Businesses, if you are using the service on behalf of a company or organization, you represent that you have authority to act on behalf of that entity and that such entity accepts this agreement. Your use of the service. So this is a big header, a new big header. The previous header is welcome to YouTube, who may use the service, right? So in summary, age requirements is 13 years old, permission by parent or guardian, and businesses. Okay, we are getting into the next part here, your use of the service. Let's start. Your use of the surface, content on the surface. The content on the surface includes videos, audio, for example, music and other sounds, graphics, photos, text, such as comments and scripts, branding, including trade names, trademarks, service marks or logos, interactive features, software, matrix, and other material, whether provided by you, YouTube, or a third party collectively. So, third party could mean the content creator, right? But what interesting here, what you want to pay attention here is the metrics. What is this metrics? They are the statistics. So this is also a service, including a service that is included in this in YouTube. Next, content is the responsibility of the person or entity that provides it to the service. YouTube is under no obligation to host or serve content. If you see any content you believe does not comply with this agreement, including by violating the community guidelines or the law, you can report it to us. Let us read that paragraph again because it is weird. There's a clause that said YouTube doesn't host. So let me read that again. Content is the responsibility of the person or entity that provides it to the service. YouTube is under no obligation to host or serve content. So what is it that they are hosting? What is it that they are serving? Would they define it as people? Would they define it as channel, but not the content that is provided by the people? But maybe that is not true. Maybe that is not true. I don't know. But that is my personal take on it. This is not the whole thing. This is not professional. Google accounts and YouTube channels. You can use parts of the service, such as browsing and searching for content, without having a Google account. However, you do need a Google account to use some features. With a Google account, you may be able to like videos, subscribe to channels, create your own YouTube channel, and more. You can follow these instructions to create a Google account. Creating a YouTube channel will give you access to additional features and functions such as uploading videos, making comments, or creating playlists where available. Here are some details about how to create your own YouTube channel. So the create your own YouTube channel is a hyperlink. Supposedly, based on this, if you click the hyperlink, it will bring you to details about how to create your own YouTube channel. Next, to protect your Google account, keep your password confidential. You should not reuse your Google account password on third party applications. Learn more about keeping your Google account secure, and that is a hyperlink as well. Keeping your Google account secure, including what to do if you learn of any unauthorized use of your password or Google account. Next subsection, let's go. Your information. Our privacy policy explains how we treat your personal data and protect your privacy when you use the service. The YouTube Kids Privacy Notice provides additional information about our privacy practices that are specific to YouTube Kids. We will process any audio or audiovisual content uploaded by you to the service in accordance with the YouTube data processing terms, except in cases where you uploaded such content for personal purposes or household activities. Mm, I'm trying to imagine because personal meaning private videos, or would that include limited link as well or not? That's what I was thinking. Next, permissions and restrictions. This is the next subtitle, sub part. Permissions and restrictions. You may access and use the service as made available to you as long as you comply with this agreement and applicable law. You may view or listen to content for your personal non commercial use. You may also show YouTube videos through the embeddable YouTube player. The following restrictions apply to your use of the service. You are not allowed to: one, access, reproduce, download, distribute, transmit, broadcast, display, sell, license, alter, modify, or otherwise use any part of the service or any content except as expressly authorized by the service, or B, with prior written permission from YouTube, and if applicable, the respective rights holders. Number two, circumvent, disable, fraudulently engage with, or otherwise interfere with any part of the service or attempt to do any of these things, including security related features or features that A, prevent or restrict the copying or other use of content, or B, limit the use of the service or content. Number three, access the surface using any automated means such as robots, botnets, or scrapers. There's an exception, except A, in the case of public search engines in accordance with YouTube's robots.txt file, or B, with YouTube's prior written permission. Number four, collect or harvest any information that might identify a person, for example, username or faces, unless permitted by that person or allowed under section 3 above. So even collecting, even harvesting information that is already available in YouTube, um, like a detective work, it is something that not allowed just based on this writing alone. So this is something that might need another confirmation here, because I am not the way I read it is like that, but I would expect that some other people would um, would think about it differently. So let me read that again, which is something that is pretty important in my opinion. Collect or harvest any information that might identify a person, for example, usernames or faces, unless permitted by that person or allowed under section 3 above. Right. So, you know, there should be a line. This I want this prevents me from continuing on, so please excuse me again. I'm thinking, when you search out a channel, you would want to know their email, probably you want to collab, and you would want to know their other social media account, it is available in their profile, right? Would that fall under this clause? I imagine must not be, but the way it is said, you know, it is kind of uh, let me read that. Collect or harvest any information that might identify a person. So when you collect information by looking at his or her channel, you could say that you would fall under this section 4, but must not be, right? So how would you interpret that? Because that is a starting point that could be extrapolated for other cases. That is pretty yes, it is interesting. It is also uh, unstable somewhat. However, however, it might be the way if we are human beings, we could argue that it is pretty clear the common sense behind it, right? um I want to continue on, but these things, stuck in my head. There are some other issues as well, because if you want to use common sense, then some other stuff that is being practiced at YouTube. For example, let me just keep it in my own mind. Let's continue on. I could continue now. I could continue. Uh, Number 5, use the service to distribute unsolicited promotional or commercial content or other unwanted or mass solicitation. Okay, wait a minute. Let me finish what I said before. Just to finish a sentence, part 4. Okay, for example, um, it could be if you collect data and you take it to you would read privacy policy, right? And you would expect, oh, they would say, okay, we don't personally identify you. Okay, you would, yeah, okay, of course, right? But there's also the thing where you consent for them to take your data to overseas to a different country, which might have different privacy policies in that country, which might have different laws in that country. So YouTube is committed to not personally identify you. However, the contractors, right? So firstly, YouTube take it to a different country, and then in that country, the contractors would be working on it to fulfill the task, and they would have access to it. So you know, would that be common sense? That's kind of not common sense. So can we rely on our common sense when we read terms and condition? Yes, we should, because number 4, we read this number 4, we have to interpret it with common sense. But um, if we use our common sense in reading some other parts, uh, where there are fine where are the fine lines somewhat outside of that common sense, you have to take extra step to interpret that these fine lines, which is not exactly common sense. In that case, what if people miss that fine lines, what if people just read it under the territory of the common sense? Now, would that be something? Would What would be what are the expectations here? Because I don't mind talking to my friend, but when my friend is talking with their family, I would be annoyed a little bit. But in terms of human relationship, things like that is expected. But on the internet, you talk about it with your contractors with a different from a different country. Now there's a line that's going to be crossed here. What if the country is potentially in animosity against your country? YouTube is in the US, you might live in India, uh, might be employ someone in YouTube might employ someone in Pakistan. Kind of weird. And things, other things as well, like AI, for example. YouTube doesn't personally identify you, but an AI could personally identify you. So how would that be addressed in the terms and conditions? Okay, so I just want to finish that thought, but I know there's a lot of concerns here. If you want to talk about it, please make a video about it, guys. And then after that, um, number five, use the service to distribute unsolicited promotional or commercial content or other unwanted or mass solicitations. Uh, and then number six, cause or encourage any inaccurate measurements or genuine user engagement with the service, including by paying people or providing them with incentives to increase a video's views, likes, or dislikes, or to increase a channel's subscribers, or otherwise manipulate metrics in any manner. Number seven, misuse any reporting, flagging, complaint, dispute, or appeals process, including by making groundless, vexatious, or frivolous submissions. Number eight, run contests on or through the service that do not comply with YouTube's contest policies and guidelines. Now, number six is interesting, isn't it? Because as a streamer, you would want to use a different account, for example, to watch your stream. Sometimes you provide, for example, relevant links using that different account. When you are providing that comment, it seems like the comment is coming from a different person, but it's actually you that is making the comment. And now, would that be counted as manipulating measurements? But I guess common sense, again, common sense should apply. Things like that, just technical stuff would fall under what is expected. So customer protection principles should apply here. What would the customer expect, you know? And then if there are something that is beyond expectation, I guess it is something nice for you to kind of clearly put it in a way that they would notice it, or it would not mislead them, like their common sense would not mislead them in that way. It would be a nice thing to have. And then after that, number seven again, misuse any reporting, flagging, complaint, dispute, or appeals process, including by making groundless, vexatious, or frivolous submissions. Number eight, run contests on or through the service that do not comply with YouTube's contest policies and guidelines. Number nine, use the service to view or listen to content other than for personal, non-commercial use. For example, you may not publicly screen videos or stream music from the service. Like, for example, you have a store. This is the way I understand it. You have a store and you play in it, YouTube music in it. Um, And then after that, number 10, use the service to sell any advertising, sponsorships, or promotions based on, around, or within the service or content other than those allowed in the advertising on YouTube policies, such as compliant product placements, or B, sell advertising, sponsorships, or promotions on any page of any website or applications that only contains content from the service, or where content from the service is the primary basis for such sales. For example, selling ads on a web page where YouTube videos are the main draw for users visiting the web page. Let me repeat number 10 again. Use the service to sell any advertising, sponsorship, or promotions placed on, around, or within the service or content other than those allowed in the advertising on YouTube policies, such as compliant product placements or sell advertising, sponsorship, or promotions on any page or any website or application that only contains content from the service, or where content from the service is the primary basis for such sellers. For example, selling ads on a web page where YouTube videos are the main draw for users visiting the web page. So let's say, for example, you have a reaction channel, and then you will make a website, or where you would make a blog containing videos of your reactions videos. So in your website, it's mainly YouTube videos. And then in your website, you would want to host, or you want to trade or commerce for some ads. Would this fall under that? I think so, right? I don't know, guys. Maybe this is a concern here for you. And then after, on to the next sub part, which is reservation. Using the service does not give you ownership or rights to any aspects of the service, including user names or any other content posted by others or YouTube. And then after that, develop, improve, and update the service. YouTube is constantly changing and improving the service. As part of this continual evolution, we may make modifications or changes to all or part of the service, such as adding or removing features and functionalities, offering new digital content or services, or discontinuing old ones. We may also need to alter or discontinue the service or any part of it in order to make performance or security improvements, make changes to comply with the law, or prevent illegal activities on or abuse of our systems. These changes may affect all users, some users, or even an individual user. When the service requires or includes downloadable software, such as the YouTube Studio application, then software may update automatically on your device once a new version or feature is available, subject to your device settings. If we make material changes that negatively impact your house of the service, we'll provide you with reasonable advance notice, except in urgent situations such as preventing abuse, responding to legal requirements, or addressing security and operability issues. We'll also provide you with an opportunity to export your content from your Google account using Google Takeout, subject to applicable law and policies. So this part is called develop, improve, and update the service. So I'm going to end the video. So I'm going to recap this last part right here, which is your use of the surface. We got several parts. First, content on the surface. Next, Google accounts and YouTube channels. Next, your information. Next, permission and restrictions. Reservations, develop, improve, and update the service. Within it, I have found some of the interesting food for thoughts. And if you want to uh, review that, I think you can potentially also discover something that came from you as well, from your own point of view. And if you got it, please share it with me and leave your comment in the comment section below. So your use of the surface, YouTube, terms of use. What is it? Terms of service. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully, I will continue next time. It is nice for you to give some feedback as well. If you want to, if you want to appreciate me with money, for example, some people just do that. I do have a link uh, to my social buzz account. So if you want to do that, please try. Thank you. Goodbye.